Mr. Speaker.
Jenny Salesa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this call on the Employment Standards Legislation Bill. But first of all, I would like to also pay my respects and to Professor Ranganui Walker. I've got to say that he was one of the professors that taught me at the University of Auckland, and he was by far one of my favourite professors, and I pay my respects to his family. Mr. Speaker, Labor does not support this bill in its current form. Labor is supporting this bill at second reading, but only at this stage, and only because we're negotiating in good faith with the current government. This bill, the Minister, Honourable Michael Woodhouse, the National Government promised that they will get rid of zero-hour contracts, and Mr. Speaker, we would like this bill to actually do just that. However, the support that we're giving, the conditional support that the Labour Party is giving this bill at this stage, it's only so that we're hoping at third reading the government will definitely get rid of zero-hour contracts. Mr. Speaker, supporting this bill at second reading comes with three bottom lines from the Labour Party. First, we would like the ability for employers to be able to put people on contracts when they are on call with no permanent hours. Mr. Speaker, being on call is fine in some respects, but being on call all of the time when there is no security, no guarantee of regular hours, cannot be acceptable, especially when people are sitting at the other side of the phone waiting to be called. But in many of these cases, people aren't actually called to come in to work. That cannot be acceptable in New Zealand. Second, we would be supportive of this legislation if employers are not able to cancel shifts at any particular point. Right now, we are not comfortable that employers, what is currently proposed by the government, would allow employers to just cancel shifts as whenever they like. And as a government, Mr. Speaker, we are not comfortable that the current government should normalise and should actually put this into legislation. And three, the Labour Party would like, where practical, for hours of work to be included in the employment agreement so that people can plan their lives with some security. Mr. Speaker, we get lots of constituents in our office in South Auckland. Many of these people work low-income jobs. Many of these people are cleaners. Many of them work in fast food industries. And when they come in to seek our advice and when they come in to ask for assistance, many of them tell us that they do work. They do have an employment contract, but many of them don't have guaranteed hours. And Mr. Speaker, zero-hour contracts are amongst the worst form of worker exploitation in New Zealand today. Mr. Speaker, zero-hour contracts must be eliminated, and we will do everything that we can, the Labour Party that is, to ensure that this occurs. Labor has not moved an inch on zero-hour contracts. It is absolutely essential to abolish zero-hour contracts in this country, Mr. Speaker. We should not, in New Zealand, allow by law for workers to sit around and wait at the other end of the line to be called, hopefully, to come in for work. Mr. Speaker, New Zealanders have a right to the protection of the law, and they also have a right to expect their elected representative, those of us in this House, to treat their right as workers with care. They should not be placed at the mercy of legislation that would make their exploitation as workers legal. New Zealanders have a right to work, and their conditions of work should be equitable and fair. Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party gives conditional support at this point to this legislation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker.